Hello and thank you for joining me today for day 17 of Creep on June, hosted by Tracie Fox. Now excuse the mess of my hands. I've literally just finished making today's and I wanted to go on and film it so I can crack on and start with the next one, and apparently that means I can't go and wash them. And also I cut myself, so apologies for the plaster too, but hopefully the sparkliness of it will detract you from the fact that I cut myself. Now, before we go into today's quote and story, it is game day, just to break up the melancholy somewhat. And we have got a spot the difference today. And this is the curious mess of Mr. Poe, because he's got a bit of a day off with everything that's kind of going on. So, you know, he's got to do some tidying up. Now it's really hard to kind of fit this in. Let's see if I can bring you up a little bit. So if you feel the desire, hang on, let's see if I can just pull you up a bit. If you feel the desire to try and spot the difference between the two there, then crack on, maybe pause it if you want to. But let's go to today's story. The day 17. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams, and the stars never rise, but I see the bright eyes. And today's quote is from the gorgeous, gorgeous poem Annabel Lee. And I did recite this poem as part of Povember last year, and it always makes me so emotional because it's so lovely. And Povember is a challenge hosted by Release the Crafting. I'll leave their channel and my playlist in the description box. So if you do want to hear me read the poem, nearly cry and show some crafty makes for that, then go check out my Povember playlist. So today, Edgar knows he's going to be on his own again today. Of course he's on his own most days, but those short stints with Alice made him feel not quite so lonely. Not sure what the atmosphere will be like outside, because yesterday he felt like he shouldn't really be walking around as a stranger when such tragedy is struck. He does something that he doesn't tend to do. He decides to write in the daytime. He thinks about all the walks along the beach he's had and how he used to walk the beaches back home with his Virginia. He writes about how he felt the other day walking through the forest alone. He writes about love and how it still carries through even after death. He writes about how their bond was so strong that it transcends the limitations of life and death, that it's an eternal love that no earthly power can separate. He blames the wind for killing his beautiful bride, that the angels were so jealous of their love and tried to break it up, but even that couldn't prevent the love from continuing for eternity. He takes all his own feelings of grief and loss and love and imagines what Alice and her father are going through with their loss, and he uses this to write his poem, Annabel Lee. He doesn't know why he uses the name Annabel Lee, it just seems to flow naturally onto the page. He wrote things such as, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And then he sits. There are no thoughts in his head now. They've all come out on paper. He sits and he just looks out of the window. Jupiter doesn't arrive that night and Edgar doesn't mind. The crow has other places to be during this period of mourning. So short and sweet today, and what I've done today is I've made this pocket, kind of scruffy pocket with a bit of writing, like notes in the background. And because it's like a day off from his normal activities, I found this, it's like a book cover called Days Off, number 17 here. And then I've just left the background because I quite like the page that it came with. And then I've made this tag, and I just put the word poetry up there. And then this is almost like he's thinking of words for his poem. So we've got for the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. The stars never rise, but I see the bright eyes. And then he thought about the word dissever. And here he is sitting in his window just looking up at the moon. And then here I've written out the entirety of Annabel Lee, and then I've just pulled out these bits of the poem, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And then the bit, for the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And then on the back here it's just him remembering him and his beautiful Annabel Lee. And that is what I've got for you today. So thank you for watching and listening. I'll be back tomorrow for day 18. In the meantime, don't forget, if you do want to hear me recite all of Annabel Lee, check out my Povember playlist linked in the description box below, and the Annabel Lee video will be in there. And it is in my top 3 of Poe's work, I think, The Raven and the Cask of Amontillado being the other 2. I mean, as a whole, stories and poems. And I just find that the way the words are written are just really, really beautiful. So I really like that poem, Annabel Lee. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.